Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. My name is Hoa and my teammates are Lila and Jonathan. Today we're gonna listen Flavor Fit, a recipe sharing web application designed to bring cookie enthusiasts together. Many people enjoy cooking but often struggle to find a single platform where they can easily discover, organize, and share recipes. System solutions sometimes lack personalization or are difficult to navigate. Our target users are home cooks and food lovers who want a simple, engaging way to share and explore recipes. FlavorFit lets a user register and create files, upload and manage recipes, search for recipes by ingredients or cuisines, and interact with others by commenting and rating. We have two main user rules: regular users who can contribute and engage, and admins who oversee content and manage the platform.
For our system functionality and architectures, major functionalities we had included the ability to create, read, as in see others, update and delete recipes. We also incorporated user authentication. This way we could protect sensitive information through encryption and also separate the user into different roles. So we have a general user and admin. And we have profile management, which allowed for user interaction. We also incorporated a search engine. That way, users could filter recipes based on their name or categories. And we added commenting and a rating system so users could interact with one another. As for our system structure for our front end, we built the app with React, JavaScript, and for the backend, we used Flask with Python, and this allowed us to handle the business logic and database operations. For a database, we use MySQL, and this allowed us to store users, recipes, comments, and ratings.
For our design decisions, for our database design, we include some main tables such as the user, recipes, ingredients, comments, and ratings. For many-to-many relationships between entities, we handle that via a join table for recipe categories, for example. And for other many-to-many relationships, we utilized a composite key instead, for example, when it came to recipes and ingredients. And then we normalize our schema to BCNF to remove any redundancies. Some challenges that we faced were, as I shared, a recipe or a recipe category or a shared recipe, and we used these join tables to enable complex querying for recipes and tracking recipes between users. We also utilized indexing to improve search performance, as well as validation to enforce data integrity with constraints on the backend and front end for some of these input fields. And then now we'll move on to our demonstration. So after you clone the repo and you update with the sample data, you'll be brought to the Flavor Feed webpage. Here, the user can log in and register. So we'll go ahead and make a new account right now. So we'll put in a username and an email. Then we can put in a password that's at least a minimum of 6 characters. So once we sign up, then the registration will be successful, and then the user can then log into their account. So once this has already been uploaded with the sample data, you should be able to view the sample data that's already inputted in here by some users. So here you can see that the user can look at the feed to see existing recipes, add this as a bookmark, make a comment, such as this is a great recipe, or respond to another user. And the user can also rate the recipe, and then this averages out the ratings of all users of the application. If we click on ingredients, we can see what ingredients are required, And then below here, it'll share the prep time, the cook time, and the instructions for a recipe. You can also share the recipe by clicking this button, and this will have a copyable link that you can paste into your browser to view just one recipe at a time. And then the user can also delete any comments from their own account, and that's how they interact with recipes in their feed. You can also search by different categories. So here only Italian dishes will show up, or quick meals, or vegan meals. You can also search by the recipe name. So carbonara will allow only this carbonara recipe to appear. So that's for the feed. And then for the profile here, it'll have the user's username and email, any notifications they receive, any recipes they have bookmarked, and any recipes that they have added. And when a user adds a recipe, they can click this button at the bottom here, and we can put in a recipe such as boiled eggs. So we can say we can boil a raw egg for 10 minutes, let's say. And then we can add in a cook time and add an image. And then we can put in the ingredients. So we can add a new ingredient here, the quantity and the unit. Again, we can say this is a quick meal, and then we can upload this recipe. One thing to note is that the recipe will not immediately show up in the feed first. It will need to be approved by an admin. And in order to access the admin, we are going to log out of this account. And with the sample data that we previously inputted, we have this login for the admin, which is admin@example.com with the password pass. Once we log in, we will see the same feed for the user, as well as the profile that shows that it's the admin, and then a dashboard. So here in the dashboard, then we can see what the approved recipes are, remove them if we would like, as well as see the recipe that we just added on our new test user. We can approve this recipe, and then it will appear in the feed. Here we can also see all the users that were created and all of the recipe categories. So we can add another category such as beans, and then that will be an option that the user can use when they are adding in a new recipe. Another feature that we have are the notifications. So if we log into the user John Doe here, we can go ahead and see the notifications that we received when we added a comment on our new test user. So we see here, if we go to the profile, you can see notifications that our recipe has received a new rating, a new comment, and then we can view that by clicking our recipe here and see that we received another rating here, and that there's another comment from the test user. So that's our quick demonstration of our application. Thank you.
As for the challenges we encountered, technically one of it was formulating the database design. So this included things like thinking about thinking about which attributes our entities would need, how notifications would be implemented, whether it would be like real time or it's just stored in database for later retrieval, and that's actually what we did, the latter. And then also how to model like an admin role, because we wanted to be able to use or to separate admin and regular user. That way we could have the ability to modify and manage accounts. And so for that, we contemplated using like an is-a relationship, recursive relationship, but we ended up adding like the admin role as an attribute to user, yeah. And then next one was handling complex many-to-many relationships between entities. And this was important because we wanted to enforce referential integrity. Lastly, it was implementing efficient search on high traffic fields. So for us, this was deciding what to perform indexing on. We decided to do this on like the high traffic primary keys. That way we could support performance and we don't index on columns that aren't as important, like message tags. And for team challenges, we were challenged with coordinating work time and time management. That way we could have an efficient workflow. Managing merge conflicts when we were working at the same time and supporting one another. Upholding consistent coding standards so that we could understand each other's code and also that anyone using our code would be able to understand what we did. And for solutions to the challenges, we would send status updates over Discord, use join tables, and optimize SQL queries for the relationships, and implement search indexing on like our high traffic primary keys and foreign keys. As for what's next, if we had more time, we would improve mobile responsiveness and the UI design so that it's more cohesive. We would also integrate user notifications with banner alerts so that way you can have it real time as well. And lastly, optimize data performance for scalability. Thank you.